Good afternoon, dear Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I would like first of all to welcome you and thank you for assigning your precious time to contribute and participate to this commemorating event. The Pelindaba Treaty declares Africa a zone free of nuclear weapons. This is an important step towards the strengthening of the non-proliferation regime, the promotion of cooperation in the peaceful use of nuclear energy, complete disarmament, and the enhancement of regional peace and security. The treaty entered into force on 15 July 2009 following the ratification by the Republic of Burundi. The first session of the Conference of State Parties to the treaty took place at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa on November 2010. Today, 52 members of the African Union have signed the treaty and 42 have deposited their instruments of ratification with the African Union Commission. Since the entry into force in July 2009, 11 African Union members deposited their instruments of ratification. We have been pleased to know that 2 more African Union members, signatories of the treaty, launched their national ratification processes. I take this opportunity to call upon the African states that have not yet done so to sign and ratify the treaty as soon as possible. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, achieving global nuclear disarmament is one of the oldest goals of the United Nations. It was the subject of the General Assembly's first resolution in 1946, which established the Atomic Energy Commission, dissolved in 1952, with a mandate to make specific proposals for the control of nuclear energy and the elimination of atomic weapons and all other major weapons adaptable to mass destruction. As you may know, His Excellency, the UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, released on May 2018, Securing Our Common Future, an agenda for disarmament, which outlines a set of practical measures across the entire range of disarmament issues, including weapons of mass destruction, conventional arms, and future weapons technologies. I wish to thank the efforts developed by UN Office of Disarmament Affairs, in particular for the support provided to the nuclear weapons free zones, strengthening their cooperation and coordination. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, implementing the international regimes on weapons of mass destruction, disarmament, and non-proliferation needs to be enhanced through domestication of legal and policy instruments against weapons of mass destruction. Strong operational and institutional capacities of member states and sufficient research and data on the threats and risks of illicit chemical, biological, and nuclear proliferation and trafficking. The specific objective is to effectively implement instruments and policies to address weapons of mass destruction, disarmament, and non-proliferation. The African Peace and Security Architecture, APSA, provisions is addressing the issue through, in particular, its roadmap chapter related to international regimes on weapons of mass destruction, disarmament, and non-proliferation. The African Union Peace and Security Council deliberations and positions have demonstrated the African continent's full commitment and support to achieve the noble goal, a world free of nuclear weapons. In preparation to the 10th NPT Review Conference, several regional and international meetings have been organized since 2019, allowing discussions on ways and means to secure successful outcomes on the 3 pillars of the treaty. We hope that the conclusions and innovative recommendations of these diplomats and experts gatherings will allow to reach consensual decisions, in particular to implement the 1995 resolutions related to the creation of nuclear weapon-free zones in the Middle East, and to update and execute effectively the 2010 NPT Review Conference 64 Points Action Plan. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the importance of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, CTBT, to the global non-proliferation regime has been highlighted since years, including during the previous Conference of State Parties to the Pelindaba Treaty and AFCONE events. The treaty is a key element in leading the world towards a diminished reliance on nuclear weapons, reduced nuclear competition, and nuclear disarmament. Africa, with 47 parties to the treaty, is already playing an important role, including through the international monitoring systems, ability to verify the nuclear test ban. His Excellency, the Executive Secretary of the CTBTO, will certainly elaborate more on the subject in his statement. I take this opportunity to call the remaining African member states to proceed with the signature and the ratification of the treaty. I am pleased today to inform you about the signature this 9 July 2021 of a cooperation practical arrangement between the AFCONE and the CTBTO. This agreement will consolidate the relationship between the two organizations and let Africa not only benefit from more from the CTBTO infrastructure and capacity building programs, but also play a major role in its verification regimes. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the entry into force on 22 January 2021 of the treaty prohibiting nuclear weapons represent one of the most important developments in the area of nuclear disarmament. In preparation to its first conference of the parties to be held in Vienna from 12 to 14 January 2022, the AFCONE takes this opportunity to congratulate the 9 African states that have already ratified the treaty, encourage the 19 African states signatories to engage at the earliest the national ratification procedures, and calls on all the AU member states to develop every effort in order to build on this dynamic move towards regional and global peace and security through the signature and ratification of this treaty. We recommend making full use of the African unique experience in supporting the development of nuclear disarmament, verification, standards, techniques, and capacities, including through expert-level discussions according to the UN General Assembly. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the AFCONE supports the organizations as soon as possible of the 4th Nuclear Weapon-Free Zones Conference, inviting all the state parties to the treaties, in particular to the Pelindaba Treaty, to participate in order to enhance cooperation and promote coordination and convergence in the implementation of the provisions of the treaties and in strengthening the regime of nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation. In this regard, I am pleased to confirm today the signature next November 2021 of a cooperation agreement with OPANAL, the Agency of the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons in Latin America and the Caribbean. The second cooperation agreement with the Central Asia Nuclear Weapon Free Zone is under review, and we expect also its signature before the end of this year. These are in fact follow-up actions to the conclusions and recommendations of the UN Office of Disarmament Affairs and Kazakhstan seminar organized in Nur Sultan in August 2019. I am pleased to inform you about the AFCONE ongoing preparation of the 5th Conference of State Parties to the Pelindaba Treaty planned in October 2021. Formal invitations will be sent soon to the parties and the observers. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, given the role the African Union is expected to play in driving and achieving Africa's Agenda 2063 vision of inclusive economic growth and development, our leaders decided urgent institutional reforms of the African Union. These achievements will let the African Commission on Nuclear Energy to implement more efficiently its midterm strategic plan 2021-2025 in close cooperation of the African Union partners. I am pleased to refer to the Common African Position on the Post-2015 Development Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The Post-2015 Development Agenda provides a unique opportunity for Africa to reach consensus on common challenges, priorities, and aspirations, and to actively participate in the global debates, including in nuclear disarmament, non-proliferation, and peaceful use of nuclear energy. Africa's increasing ability to speak with one voice on global issues is one of the recognized hallmarks of its growing transformation and strength as a global player. Considering the importance of the matter, let me highlight here the recent ISS report issued in December 2020 by His Excellency Ambassador Bankole Adeoye, currently the African Union Commission Political Affairs, Peace and Security Commissioner, entitled Common African Positions on Global Issues, Achievements and Realities. This report identifies lessons from the process of developing these common positions, including guiding principles, consultations, and the role of the African Union member states, regional economic communities, and other key players. AFCONE is already implementing, in fact, this synergy with the African Union Department, the African Union Specialized Technical Committees, the AFRA Agreement, and the FNRBA Forum. To conclude, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a particular attention will be given to the peaceful use of nuclear energy during the next 10th NPT Review Conference and the 5th Conference of State Parties to the Pelindaba Treaty. We are expecting specific actions towards Africa, and in particular for the benefit of the less developed countries, considering the socio-economic development problems faced. I thank all the state parties to the Pelindaba Treaty for their support to the African Commission on Nuclear Energy, and I thank you for your kind attention and wish you fruitful deliberation. Thank you very much.